Can you believe it's been nearly 500 days since we've seen a new episode of American Horror Story? Exactly my feelings, Finn. As we patiently wait for Season 10, let's examine some possible theories for the upcoming season of AHS. Oh, and we're definitely going to talk about this photo. Make sure you watch this entire video. We begin with the most obvious case that could pop up in Season 10, the unsolved mystery of the Lady of the Dunes. On July 26, 1974, a 13-year-old girl stumbled upon a decomposing body on Race Point Dunes in Provincetown, Massachusetts. I'll spare you some of the grotesque details, but the young woman was brutally murdered, so much so that to this day her identity is still a mystery. Same goes for the murder suspect. In the nearly 50 years that have passed, the woman has become known as the Lady of the Dunes. Now, there were no signs of struggle, no drugs or alcohol in her system, and she had no form of identification short of a pair of Wrangler jeans, a blue bandana, and a blanket. Investigators estimated that she had been between the ages of 20 and 49 and had been dead for at least 10 days. Following the body's discovery, authorities searched the area for clues but only found some footprints and tire tracks nearby. They searched the missing persons database as well as every vehicle that had been in the area, but still nothing. By the fall of 1974, the case went cold and the unidentified woman was buried at the nearby St. Peter's Cemetery with a marker that simply read, "Unidentified female body found at Race Point Dunes, July 26, 1974. Over the decades, there have been numerous theories on this unsolved mystery. Her body has even been exhumed a few times in an attempt to identify her and her killer without any luck. One of the wildest theories came from none other than Joe Hill, son of Stephen King, who believed that the victim was an extra on the 1975 film Jaws due to her description, the jeans and bandana, and the fact that the movie was filmed just a few hours away in Martha's Vineyard. But it's a bit far-fetched. Another theory popped up in 1987 when a Canadian woman confessed that she had witnessed her father strangle a woman during a trip to Provincetown in the 1970s. After numerous follow-up conversations, the story couldn't be corroborated. Now, for a brief moment, authorities believed that the woman could have been Rory Jean Kessinger, a bank robber and drug dealer who had escaped from Plymouth County Correctional Facility a year before the body was found. But a DNA test overturned this theory. There have been many more leads and theories that have all proved fruitless, which makes this mystery ripe for an AHS take. The show is currently filming in Provincetown under the working title Pilgrim, and we know that the town will serve as a setting for the story, at least some of it. We also know that Ryan Murphy has a house in Provincetown, and we can assume that he's done his fair share of research on the history of the town. The horrors of the town. So why not include one of the most horrifying unsolved mysteries the town has ever seen? As you know, Murphy and company love to bring real-life crimes into the fictional world of American Horror Story. And since we're closely following the clues he's been dropping on his Instagram, we wouldn't be surprised to see the Lady of the Dunes play a part in Season 10. How about another Season 10 theory that's buried deep in P-Town's dark past? That would be the story of the Black Flash. Legend has it that in October of 1939, when the summer tourist left for good, a local woman named Maria Costa encountered a mysterious figure dressed in all black on Commercial Street, right in front of the town hall. The man or creature was seemingly 8 feet tall and moved like a gazelle. He had glowing blue eyes, big silver ears, and a cape that opened like wings of a bat. "I'm Batman." No, it wasn't Batman. Now, Maria survived that run-in, and of course she was laughed at by local police after they heard her story. But similar stories would soon follow, as a handful of residents described being terrorized by the same ghostly figure on their nightly walks home. The legend of the Black Flash grew larger than life, but was it a hoax or an actual supernatural phenomenon? Those that believe it's real point to the similarities between the Black Flash and another demonic boogeyman, Spring-Heeled Jack from English folklore, who terrorized parts of Britain during the mid-1800s. Others claim, including retired police chief Francis Marshall, that the Black Flash was nothing more than a few pranksters trying to have fun. All I know is that if I ever visit Provincetown, I won't be walking alone at night. So what does this have to do with Season 10? Well, Ryan Murphy shared this casting news back in November, and a video of Spencer Novick's audition that landed him the gig on AHS.
"I'm gonna kill you."
Spencer looks to be preparing for a role that will have him providing some serious scares on the show. Those movements seem extremely similar to the descriptions of the Black Flash's superhuman abilities. And guess what? After a simple IMDb search for the upcoming season of the show, it sure looks like Spencer will be playing the Black Flash. Of course, let's take this news with a grain of salt. We still don't have official confirmation, but there are a whole bunch of clues that make the Black Flash's appearance entirely possible. How about a little murder house in the Northeast? The infamous LANCY mansion has a morbid history and might provide the perfect setting for a horror story. The story goes that Benjamin Lancy's mother, Nabby, passed away in the late 1800s, but because it was winter, the ground was too frozen to bury her body. Apparently, he kept her body in a cold upstairs bedroom where her children continued to visit with her. Shout out to Kai and Winter Anderson. Anyways, it wasn't until a few months later that she was finally laid to rest, but some believe that her spirit still haunts the house to this day. This definitely sounds right up AHS's alley, especially if they want to expand the universe to more haunted houses and hellmouths. Finally, let's talk about this photo, our official first look from the AHS Season 10 set, shared by none other than Ryan Murphy. It's fabulous. Yes, Leslie Grossman looks like she's going skiing in 1995. Weird because they're on a beach, and Macaulay Culkin is doing his best Blue Steel. Even more revealing than the image itself is perhaps Murphy's caption, "Something wicked this way comes." American Horror Story Season 10. The line, "Something wicked this way comes," is part of a line uttered by a witch in Act 4 of William Shakespeare's play Macbeth. This could be a subtle hint that we'll once again see witches pop up in a season of AHS. I doubt it's the full coven that we're familiar with, since we just got that recently, but what about a flashback to the origins of the Salem Coven? Provincetown and Salem, Massachusetts aren't too far from one another. It's only about a 2.5-hour car ride between the two towns, but less than half that time if you're a witch flying on your broomstick.
Surprise, bitch.
Perhaps it's these witches that had a run-in with the pilgrims that landed in Provincetown in the 1600s. Obviously, there was a lot of death and despair during this time period, with high death rates amongst the population, and AHS could show an alternate version of the events with the witches. Now, Something Wicked This Way Comes is also the name of a 1962 dark fantasy novel by Ray Bradbury that would eventually be made into a feature film in 1983. It's about two teenage best friends and their nightmarish run-in with Mr. Dark's evil traveling carnival that comes to their small Midwestern town. That synopsis sounds like perfect inspiration for American Horror Story. I could definitely see Season 10 pulling in elements from past seasons of the show, such as Coven and Freak Show, but tell an entirely new story about a town with a dark and mysterious past. American Horror Story's flirtation with unsolved mysteries and urban legends makes it entirely possible that one of these theories will come to fruition in Season 10. Or maybe it's a combination of them. Who knows, perhaps this season will be structured with a different urban legend each week, and a larger supernatural element that ties them all together. Oh, and yes, killer sirens are still definitely a possibility. Since you can't watch a new episode of American Horror Story just yet, you might as well make sure you're subscribed to this channel because we have 83 AHS videos and counting that you can watch right now. Thanks for watching this one, and we'll see you soon.
I'm Constance Langdon, and this is my